Welcome back, everybody. We're about to hop into our third and final adventure of the evening, and actually, as always, I was going to say, as always, introduce our characters, but I believe that we've reached a point where our myth-tier characters are beyond the need for introduction. They are well-renowned enough that the odds are you already know who: Fluffy, the Master of None; Lance Silverblood, the Silver Hierophant, Sword Coheir; Protector Aasimar, Cleric, but really just Sword Coheir; and then, of course, Judge Switch.
Excuse me, Pete, are you not letting me talk about myself?
I'm going to let you talk about yourself, but I'm going to have you do it around the table where we begin. Our story begins in Buckler's Bay. Um, Buckler's Bay recently has experienced a pretty significant change in its environment. It used to be one of the rowdier ports along the Crimson Coast. However, with the recent advent and arrival of Lord Pill the Grim, um, and a wayward candle dropped into the ocean by one of his servants, the ocean has receded quite a bit, so now Buckler's Bay just stands as this odd shantytown monument amongst just a field of this red kind of crimson glass from which the coast gets its name. You see all around there in the ocean that has kind of like pulled much farther back, the coastline moving kind of deeper out um, towards the ocean. You can see, sunken and cracked ships. You can see all manner of just landlocked water vehicles that have crashed there. I'm sure you recognize the ships of a few of your kind of family members, also just kind of temporarily marooned here at Buckler's Bay, as well as since there were many, fish and other sort of animals here. You see the bones of tons of fish and odd seashells and all sorts of things that were kind of had sunk to the bottom of the ocean, but are now just part of the ground in this area. It is now dried out since it's been a few months since then now, but the kind of the sun baking down and keeping everything fresh. But the story officially begins in a particular tavern within Buckler's Bay, the Swaggering Cyclops. It is rowdy and talkative, and the three of you, the four of you, are sitting around a table, just kind of discussing the proposition that has been set before you. You're looking for a missing woman, someone by the name of Rebecca. She was a local here. You said you could. You were told by Bartholomew you could identify her by her kind of bright red hair, but she was last seen entering here into the Swaggering Cyclops. Her family kind of put in the request for this. Um, so that is the kind of one lead that you have to go on, and the four of you sit around this table here. The there's kind of some lively piano music playing. There's quite a few people in this bar. A lot of them are kind of casting nervous glances your way, as Bartholomew's adventurers, specifically myth-tiered Bartholomew's adventurers, not to mention one of the Galanodels, who are, in many ways, uh, perhaps one could be considered a plague upon the coast, the Crimson Coast. Um, but if nothing else, a force, also in the tavern. Um, and that is where our adventure begins. What are you guys just kind of doing and talking about as the story starts?
So, Sword,
Mm-hmm.
Fluffy, Lance, what do you say we abandon this quest and the Lord?
I'm still confused. So it's not really a buckle.
I don't have a lot of Bartholomew bucks. I have 300, so I could pay you each 100 Bartholomew bucks, and we could just go kill this Lord instead.
I'm still trying to wrap the head around. It's not really a buckle. Are you sure? Maybe it's just a really big buckle.
Well, regardless of how corrupt the Lord is, we have to find this missing girl. We can't just leave her alone in this odd shantytown if she's missing.
Interesting.
I suppose that's true, but is anyone good at finding people? I know I'm not really good at finding people.
Do we have an item of hers by chance? I could probably try to track her down if you'd like.
You don't. The kind of one lead that you were given, you took some time to speak to her family, like I said, who were the ones who put in the request, and they know that she was heading here to the Swaggering Cyclops. One of them went to kind of check and look for her, and they didn't find her, but it's also kind of a dangerous place, and they didn't really spend too much time there because they were definitely uncomfortable. And they've just hired professionals now because it's been a few days.
Are we in the Swaggering Cyclops
Yep,
right now?
you're at a table there right now.
Why do you think a young noble girl would come to a, sketchy establishment as the...
Are we sure that's her real name? If that's her real name, I believe... No, that won't work. Never mind.
I guess I'll do the only thing I can think of doing. And, Switch is going to chug the rest of their... and, walk up to the barkeep or tavern.
Okay, I thought that was it. I'm just gonna do the only thing I can think of, which is get smashed as you...
And, with
And
the
that was
empty
that.
mug, set it down and say, "Can I get another, sir?"
Not a problem, not a problem. Lady. And he kind of walks over and goes and pours you another mug.
By the way, did my girlfriend stop by here? Red hair, a couple days ago. You seen them?
He kind of thinks for a moment. Can you...
She's a lady. We're in a gay relationship together. She's a lady. She has red hair. Do I know the race of these people? I assume
Humans, yeah.
Human. About yay tall.
Yeah, you just do kind of like
put
an average height.
I kind of, but I do it in front of my chest though, to like kind of get their attention towards my latex bodysuit chest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, this individual absolutely, you can tell, as most people in Buckler's Bay knows who you are, and is more just kind of looking past at your sword, a bit spooked. But he kind of I'm not sure if I precisely recall anyone by that description came in here in the last few days. You might try... he thinks for a moment longer. You might try asking old Bootleg. And he points to the fellow in the corner. He he harasses just about everyone who comes in here, so odds are he talked to her if she was here.
What does he drink? I'll get one of his as well.
Swill is the answer.
Swill, right.
By the bottle. Cheapest thing that we have.
I will have one bottle of Swill. What?
And he just kind of reaches behind the counter. He asks for a silver piece for what looks like an entire bottle of whiskey. It does not have a label on it.
I kind of like just like reach through my purse and like platinum, gold.
We can make change.
I kind of like toss a gold coin on the counter and walk away with the bottle.
Thank you very much. And he hands the bottle, and you have it now.
Mm-hmm.
What you do? Also, you all kind of like see this exchange. The person that he pointed out to you, Captain Bootleg, this individual is actually familiar to two of you. I believe two of you. Lance and
Switch. The guy who we went on the boat with?
On the whale hunt with, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
I didn't know we were looking for your girlfriend. That'd be nice to know.
I'll walk over and I'll say, "Hey, remember me?"
He kind of like is in a bit of a half stupor as he was every moment that you saw him last time, and he looks over to you. Oh yeah, but of course. Yes, you're that one that the Bartholomew group. Oh hey! And he looks over at you, Lance. You're a Bartholomew too.
I kind of like start rolling the bottle of swill slowly towards them. Have you
kind of
seen it's slowly rolling as I'm talking. Have you seen a lady, and then I give the quickest, by chance in the past few days here?
Lady with red hair, and he's kind of going out to like reach for the bottle. And he kind of goes to put his hand on it. Do you let him?
I kind of like put my chin on my fist, like staring at them.
All right, yeah, you have your hand on the bottle, kind of keeping it in place, and he puts it there as well.
No,
wait.
no. I don't have a hand on the bottle. I kind of like am just like staring at them, seeing if they are going to reach for it. And
Oh yeah,
do.
they have already reached for it. They're
Yeah.
they're putting their hand out for it.
Yeah.
And okay, so they grab it, kind of
Mhm.
start bringing it back closer. Just a moment, I'm gonna see if I can remember. And he kind of takes the cork off the bottle. You see he kind of chugs a big portion of this bottle. Yeah. Well, hey, you're all adventuring types, I assume, if you're with... Gather in close, you and your friends, and I'll tell you a tale of the red-haired... Actually, it has nothing to do with her, but I'll tell you the tale I told her.
I
If
do
you
always love a
Tell
story.
me that story, I will cut your face open. How does that sound?
He kind of
No
looks
need to
down
be-
confused. Sounds pretty bad. I don't think I want to tell it now, but...
How about
Well-
you instead tell me where she might have gone if
But
you
I
had
can't-
told them a story?
Tell you that unless I tell you the tale of the pirate zombies. And he looks in with one kind of wide eye.
Switch
And he
gets
says
up
it
and,
again.
like,
The tale
Switch
of
gets
the
up
pirate
and, like,
zombies.
gestures for the other three to go in as they go off for a stroll while this dude expositions.
Yeah.
I am happy to listen to a tale.
Lance continues his ritual, too busy.
And all right, Lance, you're over there just kind of. You're definitely getting some odd looks from some of the ruffians in here. I imagine you're very clean, Lance. In the back of my mind, that's at least how I've always pictured Lance. Is that fair to say?
Very
And
clean
back to the
and
beard.
still just glowing moonlight
Yeah.
off of him from
Yeah.
various magic items.
You stand out like a beacon in here with all of the moonlight that you're glowing with. Captain Bootleg looks at you, Fluffy. Sword, what are you up to? You also
I'm
there?
just trying to hide my face.
All right, yeah.
Switch is gonna.
Yeah, I'm
pick a
not too
fight.
sure if I want to show my face around here after what happened with Thanksgiving.
Oh yes, I mean of course. I almost forgot that you certainly have a hand in the current state of Buckler's Bay.
Switch is currently trying to pick a fight in the streets.
It's easy, and so is the fight.
Mm-hmm.
So Fluffy, he kind of looks at you. Now, there is an ancient legend around here about ghostly pirates whose visage is only clear in the moonlight.
That's
And
quite marvelous. I can summon moonlight. It's very
But,
useful.
but apparently ghost ships do need water, so it's been marooned out there in the wastes, and I believe that there's an ancient treasure. I've been telling everyone around here that they got some kind of ghostly pirate treasure upon that ship. None brave enough to go after it. I say, if apparently this young lass that was in here the other day, this Rebecca, bright red hair, like her friend was talking about, and well, I simply told her about the ship. And, well, she went off. She said she's always wanted to do some adventuring. Said she even thought about joining up with your group a couple of times, but she always wanted to be an adventurer, and this seemed like a call to adventure for her. So she went off to find the ghost ship. Like I said, marooned over by the coast of the ocean. You shouldn't be able
Has
to
it
miss it.
sunken? Do you know if it's underwater?
Oh, no, well, it would be perhaps underwater, but the ocean moved back, so now it's just stuck on the land. Which I don't think what ghost ships are supposed to do.
Wondering if I should have prepared some spells for that. But that is very good information. I'm very happy you told me. We do need to find this young lass. I think.
And if you find the treasure, make sure you split it with old Captain Bootleg. And he smiles, and you see...
You may have my share if you desire. I have no desire for that sort of money.
Absolutely, and your friends, if they don't want it too, I'll take it all.
I will ask them.
Very
Thank you
good.
for your tale. And I'll go off and find them and ask them.
All right.
Sword, would you mind giving up? Would you give up your loot if we find this treasure? I will tell the tale to
You don't even
Sword.
know what kind of treasure is in there.
Oh, I didn't think of that. If it's a powerful artifact, we should not give it to a civilian.
Yeah, no telling what kind of dangers it might
But he did
Bring-
give me directions if you were to gather everyone and go find it, of course.
All right. I believe Switch
that's-
is still outside. I can hear him making a.
Apparently Rebecca went that way, so
Yeah,
it's our next lead.
Yeah, so as you're kind of like stepping out the door, Sword, someone kind of brushes past you, and you see them kind of like look at you quickly. Hey, do I know you?
I can't say you do.
No, you look familiar to me for some reason. And he kind of steps up. You still have like the hood over your head?
Yes.
Um, can't place it. He's just like trying to like lean down and look underneath the hood.
Is this where Switch female John Wicks throws someone onto this dude?
Go ahead and make me an athletics check.
Okay. Athletics.
It's not quite like onto him. You don't get it all the way like to just like hit him and knock him out with it. And it just kind of like brushes against the side of him, and he kind of like moves a little bit. Riff-raff. And he looks very used to this sort of thing, as this is of course almost customary in Buckler's Bay. And he
calls
still
out,
kind of is
"What did you
staring
call
intently
me?"
at Sword. He's still calling intently at Sword. The guy says, you hear the guy kind of that was falling over. I said you're real. Collapses down unconscious.
No,
yeah.
I was talking. Switch was talking to the guy who said riffraff.
Oh. Are you referring to him?
Yeah.
Yeah, he kind of looks up at you. Well, I called you riffraff. I was mostly talking about him, but I guess you too.
All right. Time to pick another fight.
All right, you go up and you're just gonna beat the hell out. I mean, he's just a scrawny dude that has like a dagger.
Oh yeah.
All right, you go up and beat the hell out of him. That's fine.
Switch. I don't want to interrupt, but we do have a lead.
One second. I like grab him by the head and throw him over my shoulder.
Oh, someone's coming with us. That's excellent. Are they injured? Do you want me to heal them?
Yeah, he looks very injured. Hey, let me go! Let me go!
Thunk into the side with a met.
One of yours? It's your business is your business. Shall we go?
This guy was talking to you earlier, wasn't he?
Oh, he's unconscious now. You just beat up the guy that was talking to Sword.
Yeah.
I can't say I know him though.
All right.
So
I'll Batman drop him over my knee.
yeah, I mean he was unconscious the last time you hit him, but fair enough. He's probably dead. And you do you just leave the body there? Or?
Yep.
All right. You leave this poor random dude, and you continue kind of north over to where the ocean used to be. As you're walking along kind of along this place, it is kind of getting late.
Does Lance's ritual?
Which ritual spell were you casting? You asked.
That would be commune.
Oh shit. Damn. Lance. As you're kind of like as you kind of have finished your ritual, it's just kind of getting near. It's just sort of getting near dark, and the moon, which was kind of just a little bit covered by clouds, you see the clouds kind of part so that you now have kind of a clear view of the moon above, and you can feel kind of Salune watching you in this moment. What are your questions?
My questions are: is Rebecca safe?
You watch as the clouds that kind of parted, they kind of return such that the moon is partially obscured. The answer is yes and no.
Where can I find her?
I believe they have to be only yes or no questions.
Ah, that is my bad.
No problem.
I forgot
she
that
at the
bit,
ship?
so I'll.
If you want to
Oh.
take
Yeah, ask her if she's at the ship.
I will look over and give a bow to Fluffy. Is she at the ship?
the clouds cover over kind of and move in front of it even more, completely obscuring the moon. No.
Maybe ask if she's nearby the ship, or maybe if that lead is a dead end.
Will the ship lead us to Rebecca?
The clouds completely part and the moon is made clear.
So we certainly have to investigate this ship. It will point us to her. We should make haste before whatever her fate is completely blackened.
Interesting. Maybe it might be up to us rather than. I guess we should go swiftly, hopefully for a better outcome.
Very well. In that case, you kind of take off across the used-to-be beach and now kind of red glass plain. And as you walk in the distance, you do eventually see, getting kind of nearer where the shore finally resumes again. You can see marooned in place and just kind of like upside down, like it's just kind of crashed into the glass beaches. You can see this kind of old wooden boat with kind of black sails that are all tattered, and it has kind of a little bit of a blue glow about it. But this ghost ship seems to have crashed.
Interesting.
If there's anything, that journey probably took about a half an hour, and if there's anything you guys wanted to do on that journey, you can have done that.
Could I have Red Dead Redemption whistled my steed over?
Absolutely.
And I climb aboard my Vanderhob
yes.
friend Jeremiah.
That is a very useful idea. We should go with quite haste.
Um,
To get us
this is
there
your
faster.
you're at the Crimson Coast, so it is your true Vanderhob.
Hmm.
So
I thought it was only in the
guess-
Beardack Swamp that it is the true Vanderhob.
when you got your keep, they moved with you.
Oh, okay.
I thought at least, but either way, you have
Do
it.
I have a keep full of Vanderhobs then? And Jeremiah's kind of like their cult leader?
Yeah, exactly.
Their war
Yes.
chief, I should
Alright.
say, because he's the one going into battle.
Natch. What were you saying, Fluffy?
I was wondering, do we want to get there faster? I could use a bit of magic and summon us some rides over if we require. Yeah, just the people who don't have horses.
Do it.
We are in a
faster
bit
we
of a
are,
hurry.
the faster the missions then. And the faster we can go challenge the Open Lord.
Excellent.
The
Then
better
I
our
shall-
chances of saving Rebecca.
Then I should do a conjure animals for 2 horses, since your limit is 2 here, I believe.
The limit is 1, but I think in the instance of this ability, I think it's totally fine. So yeah,
Oh, okay.
you summon 2 horses. Absolutely. War horses, I imagine you get the best horses.
Well, riding horses, I think they're
challenge rating
faster.
Oh, okay, cool.
War
In that
horses and
case-
riding horses have the same speed.
Yeah.
It's draft horses that are slower.
Either way, you have summoned now 2 horses beneath your compatriots. The horses and maybe a little bit less so Jeremiah because he's used to some more rough terrain. But the horses do have, you find, a little bit of a hard time moving on like these fine kind of polished red stones that make up the shores of the Crimson Coast. But nonetheless, I mean, still far faster. And you guys kind of gallop along. They kind of kick up an interesting kind of red dust as you move. Eventually you arrive at this location, and you can see the ghost ship off in the distance.
Alright. We shall leave the steeds here in case we will need the girl to get a quick getaway. I'll try to focus on this for the time being. Shall we proceed forward?
Further in and further up, as they say.
All right.
I shall take the rear. I'll stand in the back of the group. Unless we have a cleric.
What are your passive perceptions?
19.
15.
16.
Lance, as you're getting closer, you absolutely notice. Sword, did you say 15?
15.
Yeah, you as well, Sword. You.
Fluffy sees as well, 16.
Oh, I thought you said 14. Yeah, you're good then. All three of you notice shifting movement underneath. Kind of like I said, the ship is at a bit of an angle with the sail propping it up, and you can see a few kind of forms kind of retreat into it that were like looking out through the gap, and they kind of retreat into the shadows beneath it as you guys are getting closer.
Interesting.
I will draw my blade. Better safe than sorry.
All right, you draw your blade. In the moonlight, it gleams even perhaps a touch brighter than normal.
I get out my bowl
I
of
will-
moonlight.
With the moon out, perhaps we need a Selune blessing. What do you say?
I do have a bottle of this moonlight or moonshine or something.
Ah, yes. I remember going through blessing a few of those for Bartholomew during that,
I have not got around to using mine much, but if we need it, they do apparently show them real selves in moonlight, I believe. If there
I
are
was
things.
actually asking for a blessing from Selune, if they were willing to give that.
I will cast guidance on Switch to have Selune bless her. And I'm sure Selune will bless her in our time of need, should a need for a greater blessing arrive.
You have the guidance cantrip upon you.
Fantastic.
And I really like I really like that mental image of Switch just being like, "Hey, your god can hook us up, right?"
Yeah, right?
So you gonna kind of, are you taking the vanguard on this one, Lance?
I suppose I shall.
All right, you step over, and the kind of light from your clothes is casting like the dim kind of glow around everything, and you can see that as you kind of step under the ship, like I said, the mast is kind of propping it up, so it makes almost like a little bit of a tent with the angle that it's at, since the ship is kind of on its side and a bit upside down. You kind of lean over, and you see kind of retreating into the depths of the ship. Again, you see kind of a couple of forms just able to make out in the kind of the brief glimpse that you get as they retreat further into the darkness of the ship. You can see the edges of some bone of the creatures.
I'm going to bonus action cast Ensnaring Strike.
All right, they have an immense amount of cover, and it's at disadvantage because you're seeing like the bare glimpse of
Ensnaring Strike is the next time I hit with a weapon.
Oh, you're just okay. I thought you were like also doing the attack.
No,
You're just readying it.
I'm readying that, and also since that targets me and I have my steed, Jeremiah also has it. That is a fine steed thing.
Oh, cool.
Here it is.
Nice. That's rad as hell.
Yep.
All right, cool. So yeah, you have this kind of boon. One thing you're noticing though is the gap that they kind of went through. It does not actually look like it's going to be quite big enough for Jeremiah. At least if he's just going to move through it normally. Yeah. So Lance, what do you do?
You said that he's in his full form, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me bust out the Vanderhob sheet then on this.
I mean, yeah. What's your play, guys?
Me and Jeremiah are going to teleport inside the ship.
With your shadow step, is I believe what it is.
The Vanderhob's shadow step, yes.
Yep. All right. In that case, you watch as Switch next to you, riding this Vanderhob, just kind of vanishes into the darkness, and then you just kind of reappear within the ship. You have dark vision, right?
Half elves do, yes.
And
Entering. Alright then.
and as you kind of appear, oh man, Fluffy, you just become a vapor and fly in. I imagine you move through like some of like the cracks around the edge, not even using the door. You also see within. As
I
you
don't have dark vision.
Oh, you don't have dark vision.
Lance climbs up behind Fluffy.
All right, yeah. Fluffy is the Fluffy's gas at the moment. So are you gonna go for the door? Or are you just gonna?
Yeah, I'm gonna
stay
raise
in-
my shield and just move up to the door.
Um,
And if
Alright.
there's anything fixated on me, I'll be distracted.
All right. So as soon as you kind of all walk in, Switch, you arrive in the most suddenly, I think, of everyone. And as you do, you watch as in the dark you can see huddled around you a number of what looks like skeletons and zombies. You catch out maybe a ghoul. Looks like there's might be like a white in the mix. And as you're kind of like looking around very quickly at the group of them, all of them you just hear kind of like a lot of and they all start kind of like panicking and like moving and throwing themselves back to the back walls and kind of leaning up against them.
Mm-hmm. I will action intimidate them with my glowing Vanderhob hands and my glowing Warhammer, because skeletons have a natural fear of Warhammers, I believe. And I will say, you will tell me where this Rebecca is before I end all of you. Also, you will give me all of your treasure.
Roll an intimidation check. They were already scared, and they continue to look at as you enter into the room. Lance, you step in, and Switch, despite your intimidation, a lot of them seem in particularly terrified of Lance as well. Some of these skeleton zombies are kind of eyeing up this cleric pretty warily. You see that white that I mentioned, kind of, he has a big sort of pirate captain tri-corner cap on, and he says, We be the cursed pirates of the sunken treasure, and you... Trails off.
We are Bartholomew's adventurers, whoever you are in the dark. I'm gonna shake my moonlight to make it glow.
Yeah, there's like just a little glimmer from Fluffy.
There we go. A little bit of sight, I guess. 15, I believe.
Yeah, you can now see some of these skeletal and kind of zombie forms.
Holding it like a lantern.
You are not moving fast enough. Treasure, now.
You must find...
Treasure.
To get the treasure, you have to find the key to the treasure
That's
chest.
it.
Go ahead.
Okay then.
I'm gonna wimp womp one of the skeletons.
Alright, roll for the skeletons?
Mhm.
Alright, you also ensnaring strike it, right?
Yeah.
I cast a spell again,
believe
Pete.
it's-
God damn it.
Probably
There we
dead
go.
because bludgeoning, right? On
It never
skeletons?
happens. Statistically speaking, like, the amount that you have actually had that chaos amulet go out is so low. So yeah, you hit for the 10, and then it's enough to kill it, even with the ensnaring strike was overkill anyway.
Yeah.
So
Did
yeah,
we-
it
Are we
explodes.
killing them now? I'm not sure, Switch.
No, I am
direction?
going to kill one every 10 seconds that they do not bring me the key and the treasure.
Switch, please do slow down. We're here for the girl.
Fine,
Priorities.
every
now.
12 seconds I will kill one.
Lance, you kind of say we're here for the girl. He looks at you. Only treasure. No girl here. We sent her to get the key.
Oh, excellent. Can you send us the same direction by chance?
Yes, absolutely. And a lot of the zombies kind of all like, all kind of nod and shake their heads. The skeletons just put up thumbs up because they don't seem quite powerful enough to speak.
How many more skeletons are there?
There's another 6 in the room.
Let's make that 5.
Go ahead and make an attack roll.
No, you go get the key.
We can't get the key. It is old and hidden in the deep.
Oh, we do.
You're
need to
undead, you
reach-
don't need to breathe.
I know it.
We can't get there. It's too far away.
Are you bound to this place?
Yes. He looks at you.
I'd
Bound
like to,
by an ancient curse.
I'd like to insight check this guy.
Go ahead and make an insight check.
A curse. That's interesting.
Where's that roll?
Can I
He's
also
bound-
get in on this?
Yeah, sure.
Can I be oblivious and not?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's fair.
Um,
A curse. That sounds quite impressive.
do you have a +1?
Guidance. I have a little thing clicked because I assume I cantrip that, but I forgot to do my little narrative.
Oh, okay. I don't believe you can actually guidance yourself, can you?
I think you can just guidance anything. I mean, creature-wise.
I don't think you can, but irrelevant because 16 was enough. And he kind of looks at you, or you're looking at him, and it's an undead face, so it's tough to read. But as a cleric, you've counted enough undead to know that when you were like, are you bound to this place by a curse? And he was like, yeah. that was just a convenient explanation.
Don't make me unleash this one. You have no idea how much restraint she's managing to only kill you so infrequently.
We don't have the key. We can't go get it. But I can just give you the treasure and you'll be on your way, okay?
Give her the treasure and tell us where the key is. As I said, we're looking for the girl.
I think there's an iceberg farther out to sea. You can take. Here, we have a rowboat, and he hands you a rowboat, or doesn't hand it to you, but kind of has you watch as some of the skeletons that haven't been killed yet go over and take a rowboat down up the side. It's covered in barnacles, but seems like it would function, and it's out on an iceberg farther out to sea. But the treasure's yours. We're fine. We don't need it. It's fine. And he hands you over just a big treasure chest. The lock on it, I mean, there is a lock on it. It looks old and rusty and like it could easily be broken off.
I'll go ahead and do so then.
Yeah, you do so. The treasure chest is filled with some gold and some miscellaneous treasure. It's a crown. You see like a crown, a goblet with a couple gemstones in it.
I'll put my warhammer and my shield away. And then I'll pick up the treasure chest, and Jeremiah will pick up the boat.
Alright.
And then I'll climb into the boat.
Alright, you do that.
So
Everyone else?
Jeremiah, this frog person, has a boat over their head with Switch in it, holding a treasure chest.
It's a little bit of a tower there. What are the rest of you guys doing?
So, we've now got an understanding of where the girl and the key. Are we done with our friends here?
It appears so.
They're still looking at you very nervously, Lance.
I will stride forward toward the white. You've been ever so helpful. Allow this to be considered something of a parting gift. As I will, as an action, I am a good cleric, I'll have you know. I'm not just gonna murk this boy. I'm just gonna help him move on.
Yes.
That did not pop it, but I gentle repose him.
Do you have the copper?
What if you channeled divinity destroyed undead though?
And he that's what I was wondering if you just murk them
I was
all.
afraid he was going to do that.
That was what he was. That's what they were afraid of. Was you just murking them all? And so he kind of looks at you, and as you kind of gentle repose him, does this like send undead? It's a little bit beyond it, but go ahead and make me just a spellcasting ability check. This one time.
Will I be able to apply a bless to this?
No. If you're proficient in religion, I will let you add that bonus, though.
I am indeed proficient to religion, so,
so essentially in
a
a
proficient
spell attack roll.
Bingo. Let's see here. 20.
20. That was actually the exact DC that I said. You reached out and kind of touch him on the shoulder, and as you do so, you watch as just just kind of like some light seems to leave his mouth, and then immediately after, as the captain, you hear a lot of kind of like ghostly "Oh!" is all like the surrounding skeletons and zombies also just kind of like their souls seem to leave their forms and move upwards, and then all of the bodies just kind of collapse in heaps, clattering of shields and metal and weapons.
Wow,
May you find
very
peace.
impressive sword. Very impressive.
That is going to take the spell slot match.
Of course.
So, these skeletons move on to their side. You've gotten a bunch of treasure. Pretty successful so far. You get a boat. What do you do?
Get
Shall
on
we
the boat.
go?
Everyone climb in. Jeremiah will carry us the way to
Is there
the,
enough room for all of us? I am quite large.
How big is the rowboat?
There's room for 4 people, barely. It's tight with Fluffy.
I don't want you to squeeze. Is the water deeper?
You're moving into now. You've reached the point where the ocean starts again, so you're moving into the ocean.
Excellent. Do dinosaurs exist here, and would Fluffy have seen them?
Yes and yes.
Excellent. I'm just going to turn into a plesiosaurus.
You just very quickly just become the closest thing I think to Lapras in.
Pretty much.
Alright, so
And there's just a
Just gonna
plesiosaur.
tow us across.
So Jeremiah is at the front
Yes.
of the rowboat, holding Switch, Titanic style.
But I imagine it's not like Switch isn't like I'm the king of the world. I just picture Switch just kind of standing vertical in a pose, like hands on hips, just looking out.
Yeah, exactly.
I will pull them if it goes faster.
Yeah, absolutely. The rowboat is kind of a pain, and you as a huge creature, or not necessarily huge, as large probably, yeah. You as a very big creature nonetheless are just kind of pulling this rowboat along. You guys are moving at a pretty good clip, and sure enough, in the distance before long, you do see an iceberg. Also, as you're getting kind of closer to it, you seem to be going over what looks like a very huge trench within the ocean. It is just dark down within it. It is night, and the moon is kind of lighting dim light over everything, so you are able to see.
When I transformed, I can choose what I transform with, right? So I want the moon light to stay out, and like put it around my neck like a necklace.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or else I'll be a bit blind.
Well, you're in dim light, even with just like the moonlight. The ambient moonlight is allowing you to see at this moment, Fluffy.
Cool.
Yeah, so you get up there. You see an iceberg, and you see kind of frozen within it what appears to be a shape. It is a humanoid shape. Long hair.
Well, tied to the boat. Let's drag it back to shore.
And as you get closer, and you're kind of getting closer, the first one to kind of pick it out with your incredible vision, Lance, is you with your past perception. You notice this thing, and you also notice, though, in front of you, you see a chunk where a bit of the ocean begins to kind of freeze over, and in front of it, a great line of ice seems to appear in front of the boat. Just a horizontal line. It's maybe only about 5 or so feet in kind of width, but as soon as it kind of appears on the ocean, like the waves kind of stop moving around it almost, and it spreads out very, very far.
Far towards us or far on either side?
Far horizontally, just moving along the horizon. The ice freezes almost instantly, despite it being the kind of salt water, and it just moves to the point where it's just out of your vision very quickly.
Fluffy, there's some strange ice afoot. You might want to get out of the water should worse come to worse.
Fluffy shakes head no. Fluffy dives under and pops out the other side.
Well, also, this is like a little bit before you, because another thing happens before you get to it,
okay.
and this is a more, perhaps, significant one. You see, kind of over on the iceberg, you watch as kind of a figure seems to emerge from the top of it, kind of leaning on and holding on to the sides. From kind of the look in the moonlight and the dim light. It's a little bit tough to make out, but they appear to kind of have the visage of a walrus, but they have kind of humanoid hands and legs, and it looks like their clothes kind of wraps up such that like their arms have big kind of almost flippers that kind of go up with the clothes around the hands. And that voice kind of calls out, booming despite the distance from you, probably about 200 feet away still. It booms out. Do not come any closer.
You shouldn't have said that.
Is it 200 feet away?
It is 200 feet away.
Alright. Still holding switch with their arms crossed in the Titanic kind of style.
It calls out again. You have reached the border of the world. If you take another step, you will meet the same fate. It looks over to the side.
Lance will boom back. Well, that's a very interesting proposal. Though, we only need a 5-foot leniency on this. Give or take a few feet. Certainly, you could alleviate this by handing the girl over. Or the iceberg.
What is past the border is mine. That's all he says to that.
You said 200 feet? Is that an exact number, or?
An exact number.
That is an exact number.
Yes, sir.
Does anyone have extended spell?
No.
We have no
We
sorcerer.
do not have a sorcerer in the party.
Says the Theosaurus.
So it kind of just like continues like watching them with their arms crossed.
He's just kind of standing waiting.
I look towards Sword for direction, commands.
We're going to have to fight this guy, aren't we?
Probably so.
Fluffy starts dragging them over.
Even if we could figure out a peaceful solution, I don't think Switch has the patience for it.
Alright, so you kind of continue along and you get to the point where that it seems that this individual drew kind of a line in the ice. And
Before we pass, Lance will cast Water Walk on the party before we get to the line.
Awesome, very cool. And he
What a walking Plesiosaurus, wonderful.
I'll say that you have the choice about whether you will be walking on the water or not. So as not to like
He'll be slip and sliding.
not to mess you up.
Yeah, you have to press down and jump in order to go under the water.
Yeah, exactly.
There we go.
And he kind of looks over at the group of you. Are you certain that that is what you want to do? I do not relish this, you know.
How far away from him is he from the line?
He is about, you guys have gotten closer now, he's still about 60 feet back from the line, as you've gotten up to it.
But within shouting distance.
Okay. 120 feet distance. Orbital strike incoming.
Alright, the moonlight kind of courses down. This time it seems to come directly from the moon itself.
And this guy is a shape changer, I assume?
No, he doesn't seem to be.
Oh. Okay.
But he is going to make a Constitution saving throw, and I am going to need you all to roll for initiative.
At the start of his turn. He doesn't take he doesn't take damage when I cast the spell. It's just at the start of his turn.
I'm a fast Plesiosaur.
Alright. Wow, the first one to act in this instance is you, the Plesiosaur. The moonbeam kind of It courses down in the night sky, and he looks on it. He kind of looks up at the moon for a moment, looks at you. If this is how it has to be, then so be it. And he kind of flexes his muscles a bit. Fluffy, what do you do?
So, where he's standing like on top of a cliff, is there land I could drag the rowboat to for the party? Try and get them there faster.
Yeah, there's a little bit of some like frozen ocean over by the iceberg itself.
How far away would that be?
That's going to be 60 feet to get to that.
Excellent. I'll dash and I'll get the party there, and that'll be my turn.
All right, you. The plesiosaur begins ripping across the water, kind of picking up a little bit of a surf as it does so, and the boat is brought right over to the edge. There's a little bit of a platform. He stands a little bit higher up above you, on top of this iceberg, looking down. He's maybe 25 feet up to the top of it.
Then I'll use the rest of my movement, and I'm just going to dive under the water a little bit.
All right, yeah, you duck down a touch.
Holding my breath with my Plesiosaurus powers.
That is going to bring us then in initiative to Sword. What do you do, Sword?
Okay, about how far is he?
He's about 25 feet up on this kind of iceberg that he seems to have created that is encasing this individual you're trying to save.
In that case, I think I'll just prep my Spirit Guardians for some close combats, and I guess hold up my shield in anticipation for what's to...
Alright. At the end of your turn, he is going to look down at you. He's going to look down at you, Switch, and he's going to use a legendary action and jump down at you, where all of you are kind of on this boat. I need you to make me a dex save.
Dex,
Everyone
you said?
Specifically Switch.
Okay. Is this magic?
No.
Okay.
That is not going to do it, unfortunately. You watch as he kind of leaps very high in the air. He leaps very high in the air, and you see kind of does a big flip, and now that you can see him in the moonlight as you're getting closer, he seems to be some type of... He's vaguely humanoid in shape, but he's very big for a human, and he's just like seems to be wearing a cloak over his head that looks like a walrus. And he just kind of puts out his body, which, like I said, is walrus in size as well, and body slams you on the boat. As he crashes down on top of you, the water underneath where he was crashing just kind of freezes, the boat shatters. Everyone but Switch is kind of knocked back a little bit from the space. You're all kind of just like pushed back 5 feet. You were under the water, so you were fine. And you take 26 points of bludgeoning damage, and you can make a concentration check on the movie.
Oh, heart.
Take a breath, P. Jeez.
You are still concentrating on that moonbeam. Damn, son.
And since he ran into my vicinity, so he's going to take Spirit Guardian.
Yeah, also, can you just throw the text for Spirit Guardians up on the screen for me after you roll the damage for this one? So I can read one particular thing that I'm interested in. It takes 24 points of radiant damage. Nice. Yeah, you can see it.
It is a save. Wisdom.
What am I thinking? Oh wait, no, he has. Well, he got it anyway. But it should have been higher than that. Very good. That is all for. Well, that is all for his legendary action, which means that it is now your turn.
How do you get it to come up?
Change it from attack to spell card in the spell section.
Yep. Here, I'll do it for you. In the meantime,
Switch.
Switch. Go ahead.
Well, that wasn't very nice. I'm going to... Well, first
wait,
of
I'm
all...
sorry. I forgot to mention this aspect of it. He's on top of you right now, and you are restrained by his weight. He's just laying on top of you.
Okay, and he did make the spell set.
Yep, so he's going to take half of that.
That's not very cool. I think he also needs to be restrained, guys. What do you guys think?
Ooh, channel divinity.
All right.
Strength save or dex.
Strength or dex save. He's
It's
going to go with strength.
Alright,
Assume that does it.
Yeah.
Yeah. He, the vines go and kind of rip up around him. You hear him just kind of flex his muscles, and the vines kind of snap. And you, as always, the classic switch move. You chug a healing potion. Nice healing potion.
Yeah, thanks.
And that's all for your turn, I presume.
Yep.
That is going to bring us to his turn. You who are kind of underneath him right now, he kind of leans down, and since you were restrained by him, he's going to have advantage against you. He's just going to... you see kind of the walrus hood that he has up over his head has two kind of vicious-looking tusks on them. That's a 26.
Okay, I guess he hits.
Oh, Jesus. That was an advantage. Just make sure he doesn't crit. Alright, and then he's gonna punch you. Which is 25.
Yeah, I guess he hits again.
Oh, Jesus. And then gonna punch again for 14.
Oh.
Yep. That's a...
just so you know, I wouldn't bother with quote-unquote advantage for see if he crits.
oh, but of course. But of course!
Adamantine armor.
Yeah. Alright, in that case, that is his turn. He uses his tusks, and then you just see the kind of fists beat into you. You see, like, bulging muscles around... Jesus. You see kind of bulging muscles, like, flexing as he... heavy blows strike into you. That is all for this individual's turn. And that's going to pass us to, I believe it is Lance.
Lance will look up to the moon shining down and invoke the blessing of Selune on us, as I will do that sweet, sweet second level bless on every...
Alright, all of you now have an additional 1d4 to your attacks and saves. Anything else on your turn, Lance?
I believe that is it, since I can't pull out any bonus action.
You can do a first level spell as bonus action if you want to do that.
That is very much not the level of bonus action spell I have on my...
Alright, very well. In that case, that's going to bring us around to the top of the initiative, which is you, Fluffy.
So how clear is the water? Or is it iced over and I don't have line of sight to switch?
It is, the water directly underneath Switch has been turned to ice.
Okay. I'm gonna swim so if I swim like 10 feet away, can I get above the ice?
Yeah, absolutely. It's just like a very narrow, it was like right underneath where Switch's form was, just enough to like pin down.
Okay. I will use a bonus action to come out of wild shape. I'm going to look at Switch in dire stress and click my fingers. Switch, I'm casting a spell on you. I will yell out, "This will help." Do you accept?
Sure.
Okay, yeah, I turn you into a giant ape, and I hop back in the water as I cast Polymorph.
Jesus.
And I hop back in the water, holding my breath, and just gonna swim under the ice. It's really safe here.
Me a monkey?
Yep, you're a giant ape. Enjoy.
Switch.
I'm gonna need another character sheet.
I assume... can you, wait, actually, you know what?
There's a community one you can use.
Yeah,
I'm not using that one.
Just use the community.
You're not using it? Okay.
No, I have my own
Yeah,
fluffy
you
beast
can
is
do
my
it on
one.
his own.
Okay, I'll just change that one then.
Alright, great.
And that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, you watch as Switch's form kind of swells into this huge ape-like creature. Or not ape-like creature, just an ape creature.
I'm
And
restrain him now.
as you become huge, yeah, absolutely. He just gets kind of like pushed off, and he kind of touches down on the ground. The ice underneath you kind of vanishes as he gets thrown back a couple steps. It seems like it always like freezes underneath his feet as he moves. But where you are, you're also walking on water, so you're kind of fine. You're just laying down now as a giant ape. Oh, and Jeremy says he's now given you a giant ape, so that's great. And Is that all for your turn, Fluffy? Pretty good turn.
Yep, that's it.
End of your turn.
Ice, but safe.
End of your turn. He's going to use a legendary action. He can't quite go after you because you're on the water at the moment, which is a nice spot to be. But he's going to go after you, Lance, and you should make me a dex save. Lance?
Lance here.
There he is.
Lance? Oh, you must have lost you for a second. Lance, I need you to make a dex save.
Is it magic?
It does not.
Ah, I would prefer if it was. That is bad.
Jeez, yeah, that is not going to get you there, even with Switch's bonus. As he does the same thing to you that he did to Switch before, where he jumps up extremely high in the air and goes and kind of body slams you. There's a little bit of a noise, and he crashes down on top of you. You are restrained as Switch was. Additionally, I need you to make a concentration check.
Hey.
Totally fine. And that is his legendary action, and the turn now passes, I believe, to Switch proper. Oh no, it's Sword, I believe. Sword.
How far away is he?
He is, from you, you're all very, bunched up right now. You're all kind of huddled at the bottom of the, that kind of snowy peak, where he was, kind of standing before. Or the little glacier. So you're right next to him if you're about to be.
In that case, I'm just gonna take swing.
Rough. Yeah, you go and swing the square hammer down. It flies just a bit off of its mark, and unfortunately you do not hit.
Alright, then I'm gonna move back some and use my bonus action to raise my...
Okay. In that case, also, he should have taken another...
oh yeah, Spirit Guardians.
It's on your turn. It's on when he takes an action.
That should have happened on when the... Okay, yeah, you're right. Yep.
It's on his initial... on the initial...
Unless he jumps
whenever he comes in range,
yeah, that was
whenever I activate it, or
complicated
his burst.
Awesome. All right. So in that case, that's going to bring us to now it's Switch's turn.
Okay. You
Ape.
can hear me, right?
Yep.
Yes.
You're very lucky you got turned
punch.
into an ape.
How far away? How far away is he?
He's like right next to you. He's just moved the 5 feet over towards where Lance was.
Okay.
With a big body slam. Nice. Unfortunately, both of those attacks miss. Some
Is his AC 16 or better?
Oh shit.
D4? 16?
A 16 is actually going to just hit.
Sweet.
Nice. You crash a heavy fist down into him. It strikes his belly, kind of jellies a little bit as it hits him.
And I'm going to Divine Smite.
no class features in Polymorph.
Unfortunately not. That would be OP as hell.
I know, right?
Anything else on your turn, Switch?
No, that's it.
Alright. He is going to actually take... he's going to take a step back so he can grab everyone.
Can Jeremiah go now?
Yeah, sure.
Bonus action teleport.
Yep.
And then...
How'd the horse get here?
That's strange. I don't know why it says it twice. I don't... We'll click it and see.
Oh.
25 to hit, or 26 piercing.
Yes.
Grappled and
And
restrained.
the
My
target
lord.
is grappled.
And restrained. Wow.
Very well. Alright, at the end of... Actually, no, he's not even going to bother doing that. Right, is that all for your turn?
Yep.
Alright, he's going to look at... gonna take a he's gonna take a step. Actually, can't move. No, I guess he's just gonna have to miss Fluffy. All right, he's gonna turn around, and you see him kind of like breathe in kind of a big breath, and you find just kind of freezing wind and ice fires out from his location, from his mouth, towards everyone but Fluffy. I need to make me a Constitution saving throw. This is in fact magic, although Switch, you don't have that buff right now. Because
do me and Jeremiah get affected?
Yeah, this is everyone but Fluffy is going to get hit by this.
Including Jeremiah, who this dude is in the mouth of.
Oh wait, he's inside of literally, he's swallowing...
He's literally in the bite of Jeremiah. That's how he's got it.
Alright, I'm going to just rule that since this creature is very big and beefy, that he's, like, not entirely closed his mouth around this dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which I think is reasonable. It's 37 points of cold damage. The DC is not 0. The DC is 17.
And so this is on everyone, including Jeremiah.
Yep, everyone including Jeremiah.
Constitution?
Yep.
Oh my, that is not good.
Jeremiah absolutely succeeds, taking half damage, only 18 points, did I do that right? Yep, 18 points of damage. To those of you who succeeded, Sword and Lance, both of you take the full brunt, the 37 points of damage. That is going to be all for his turn. As he cones of colds. You. I need you to make me a concentration check on your spell. That's...
Give me 1 second. Roll 20's acting up just a tad.
At your leisure.
While we wait, we can talk about sports.
Oh.
How about that ice hockey?
Oh wait, he never took the Spirit Guardians at the start of his turn, so that should have happened.
I moved back, remember? Or was I not able to move back that far?
You were... No, yeah, you're right, I'm sorry. Yep, you moved back, never mind.
So would I be moved back far enough out of his
Yeah,
attack too?
No, the attack is actually very big.
Okay.
60-foot cone.
Yeah, Lance, the Bless also falls.
Ripperoni.
But you're still an ape.
You see as just like a thin layer of ice kind of appears on the ground above where you are. You know you can break through it, Fluffy, but it looks like the water protected you to a degree here. That's all for his turn. That is going to bring us to Lance. It's your turn. You're no longer restrained because basically got picked up by Jeremiah and put in his mouth. So you're just kind of on your back right now. What's the play, Lance?
Taking a quick glance around, everyone's looking pretty rough, or is it just me?
I think everybody's rough.
I think everybody's a little bit rough.
I will activate my ultimate technique, which I have not actually had to use, and that's terrifying, as I will mass cure wounds all of us.
Whew.
For 30 hit points.
Wait, what? 7 radiant damage? What?
Oh, ignore that, sorry. Ugh. I always
Heal
leave that on
23,
in case I ever
take
hit
7.
someone, and it just applies divine favor, whatever that is, to all of my stuff. But 23 then.
Alright. He's going to use a legendary action at the... I'm sorry, is it all for your turn?
No, that is not all for it just yet.
My apologies.
That's my action, and I will bonus action as I'm still looking pretty rough. Get that sweet sanctuary off because, oh boy, that's a lot.
Alright. Yeah, you absolutely kind of call upon Salune's blessing and use it to shield yourself, and that is going to... that's going to be all.
That'll do it.
All right.
Oh, I also get up from prone if I'm prone.
Yeah, okay, yeah, you stand naturally, and at the end of your turn, he's going to use a legendary action to attack the Banderhob within his mouth. He has disadvantage because he is restrained. 13.
15 AC.
Oh, he misses. He goes to maul the Banderhob with the tusk that he has, but it is no bueno with the strength. He's kind of, you can see Jeremiah kind of holding him as much as he can with the mouth and like kind of moving his head away, readjusting the way he's sitting in the mouth, and that is all for that legendary action. That's top of the initiative, I believe.
Is this guy a medium or a large creature?
He is a large creature.
Is the ice see-through enough that I can see where Lance is?
Yeah, you can see. It's
Okay. Horror movie style, can I punch my hand through the ice and touch him for a cure wounds?
Yes, absolutely, you can.
I'll do it in a second though before you.
And by punch your hand, you mean punch your fin through the ice?
I'm not in wild shape anymore.
Oh wait, you unwild shaped.
Yeah. I'm gonna do that next after I heal him. As you get
Of course, you can cast a spell. What am I thinking?
Okay, you get back 9 points of healing, Lance, as a Furbolg fist comes to the ice and touches you.
I am surprisingly comforted by that.
For a brief moment, it's like, oh, more enemies! Oh, it's just fun.
And then I will proceed to turn back into a Plesiosaurus and swim down.
Alright, yeah, you return to your...
At 10 feet down and keep my whole breath. Keeping concentration is very important at this point.
Yes, absolutely it is. Alright, is it all for your turn?
That's it. Yep.
Sword, what's it gonna be?
Alright, I'm gonna take another swing with my square. I'm gonna move up, take another swing with square hand.
Alright, you have advantage, but 11 does not hit. You go to swing down with the mightiest of hammers, but it does not connect. He's kind of moving his
sword
body.
using a hammer.
Because it's the square hammer, is the answer to that question. Anything else on your turn, Sword?
Yes, I'm gonna cast. Use my bonus action to cast Mass Heal.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Go ahead and roll that.
You have 2 clerics? Cool.
Yeah, it's a cleric party.
Cleric, paladin, druid, heal boys.
The most divine party.
9.
You all heal for 9. Anything else on your turn, Sword?
That's about all I can do.
Alright. Legendary action at the end of your turn, attack against Jeremiah. We'll miss again. That is gonna bring us to Switch. Let's play Switch.
Okay, panic? Do I panic?
You have advantage with your fists.
Do you panic?
You have advantage with your fists.
Do I fist?
Oh.
Does I fist?
That absolutely hits.
Does I fist good?
Indeed you do. For 50 points of damage as you punch twice in your giant ape form.
This is why I'm under the ice.
And then I do the thing. Should I roll again to see if I advantage? No.
No, because you have to, in order to... Oh, wait.
Or tongue attack on another target. So he can bite the same target.
Yeah, no, he's good. Yep.
Yeah.
So that hits.
And then he goes underwater. Bye.
Oh, he's dragging the dude underwater?
Shadow stepping magically, teleporting 30 feet, and then thinking as fast as Jeremiah can, which with his swing
Now he
speed
can
is,
see me! Oh, this is so bad.
is 30, so 60 feet underwater.
Yeah, absolutely.
By
Alright.
Walrus.
This individual is now under the ocean. And is that all for your
Fluffy
turn?
seems confused.
Why do I think this is not gonna help?
It's not gonna help. I'm gonna get hurt. And then I have to make a con save, and then I'm gonna fail.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's
Alright. Jeremiah shadow steps down with this individual in his mouth, and legendary action. That's a crit fail. Oh man, he's having a rough time with these. And then it's his turn proper, and he's just going to attack him again. Doesn't try and get out of the water, and miss. And
17 hits.
Yep. And then...
That one
Miss.
misses.
Yeah, rough. 21 more damage to Jeremiah. And that's all for his turn. This guy's now
21?
underwater. Yep. Yeah, that's it. You see this guy kind of down underneath the ocean, just kind of grappling with Jeremiah the Vanderhub, and he seems pretty like occupied right now with Jeremiah. What are the rest of you guys doing as it moves now onto your turn, Lance?
How
The giant ape would like to make hair gestures and scream.
How deep within the ice is the girl? Is she like in the heart of it, or just crusting?
She's at the top of it, but it's like she's like a little bit in there. So she's at the narrowest part of the glacier, but it's still like maybe like 3 or 4 feet of ice that you're gonna have to break through.
Okay, I will tell the giant ape to try to move the iceberg as much as they can from its current position. Try to float it further. As I, looking at the girl, will banish her.
Oh shit!
Good idea.
Absolutely radical. Alright, she's gonna make a charisma save.
For you strange people, why are you casting strange magic?
She is got no bonuses to this, and you watch as she disappears from the ice. There's just an empty hole in the ice. That's very cool. Where she was. Creative use of spell, Lance. Anything else on your turn?
Any bonus action shit I have to do? I don't think. Oh, wait, that's an action, so I can't bonus action that. So I will instead. You can't cast that at a higher level, so I'm just gonna say I don't have anything I can do.
All right. What do you keep? Whatever. That's going to be all for your turn then. Legendary action. He continues to battle with Jeremiah. Misses. That's going to be rough rolls on this guy. Fluffy, what do you do?
Fluffy's gonna swim up and bite him.
Alright.
Advantage.
Yep.
Turn advantage on. Bite. 13.
Alright, you hit for. Actually, no, I'm sorry. That was
13 doesn't hit.
Nope, 13 does not hit. Never mind, I lied.
And I just stay there.
Alright.
That's all I do. At least.
That's going to bring us then to him, who's going to legendary action make a punch attack against you. He cannot tusk you because he is not quite close enough against you, Fluffy. He's just going to reach up.
Disadvantage.
Still restrained.
Oh, yep, you were correct about this. 13.
Yes. Doesn't matter. Oh no. Yeah, no. It still hits me. I'm a Plesiosaur. Not Fluffy. I'm a Plesiosaur. It hits.
16
damage.
points of damage.
And I have to make a con save with the Plesiosaur. And there you go, guys.
You are no
There goes
longer a
one.
giant ape, Switch.
I know it. I know
Okay,
it.
so I lost my 1,380 pound carrying capacity.
Oh yeah, oh, nice. And that's going to bring us to Sword. What do you do, Sword? There's an underwater battle happening, and there's also an iceberg that has had the girl just disappeared from the iceberg with Lance's banishment. It's crazy shit going on. What do you do?
Do I take the 11 or the 16 damage?
The first one, so 11.
11.
That's just I always just rule it as the first.
Just checking.
Alrighty, in that case,
Use the help action.
is anybody in dire straits?
Yes, me. I'm gonna have to move the ice. Please use the help action on me.
What do you do?
Alright, I'm gonna cast Healing Word on him.
Who are you healing wording?
Whoever's in dire straits.
I think Switch is actually also the lowest health. So.
I
Yeah,
didn't see. I didn't see where it was, who it was. So.
Switch was a giant ape until recently. So.
All
Alright,
right.
you're gonna healing word. Go ahead and roll out.
I'm
Rough.
up to 32.
Ouch. You gain 4 points of healing. And you still have an action. What else, Sword?
I'm just gonna use my... Well, no, I can't
Help
use that.
action.
I guess I'll use my Hornet's Nest special ability with my bonus action to make the honey treats and just shove all 10 of them down as
All right, yeah. Or as your action to make the honey treats. Sorry to use your bonus action, but yeah, you go over and make a bunch of good berries, and you're just gonna feed Switch 10 good berries.
Yeah.
All right. Sword comes
Better
over
than nothing.
and just like you're kind of like make sure you use the help action as your mouth opens. It's just honey treat. You're just nutritious and you heal for 10. That's going to bring us next in the initiative to you, Switch. What do you do?
I guess choking on honey treats, I'm gonna try to
A lot,
shove
yeah.
this ice.
Go ahead and make me a strength check. This is not going to be an easy strength check by any means.
Can I
Athletics.
use... Yeah. First of all, I need to wash down all those honey treats.
Yep, you do, with a nice crisp, refreshing healing potion. Coffee.
Bartholomew's Choice Health Potions. Drink them always. I
Sponsored.
look directly into the camera.
Ooh,
25?
25. You, with all of the force that you can muster, begin kind of pushing the iceberg. You're kind of finding your grip from the water walk spell on the ocean waves as you just kind of lean into it. And the iceberg is not affixed, in any way. It's just floating. So you begin to push it, and you find it actually start to drift. Not very far, but you've created enough momentum that you're pretty sure that you'll be able to. The plan that you've put in motion will succeed.
And with the shove action, I can attack twice, right?
Yeah, sure.
Alright, I'll shove
You
again.
can shove again.
Yeah. With your first push, you got there, but the second one didn't really,
And then Jeremiah chews, because it's very important to chew your food before you swallow.
All right, yeah. Jeremiah chews and swallows this individual who's been reduced to 0 hit points in his belly, and Jeremiah kind of consumes this thing, and yeah, that's all.
Okay. Jeremiah will swim upwards then.
All right, Jeremiah kind of swims up.
Mhm.
You see, kind of spits out like a tusk on the ground.
No, that was very anticlimactic.
Can I swim up too?
Yeah, and as you say
Can I
that,
break
sword,
through the ice dramatically?
yeah,
As
you
opposed to
break through
force.
you break through the ice extremely dramatically. You explode upwards and out, and you're now kind of flopping around as a plesiosaur. And you hear
I actually
Sword
have a
kind of
walking
saying,
speed as a plesiosaur, strangely enough. It's weird, I know.
"Yeah, I mean, why not?" You hear Sword say that's kind of anticlimactic, and then you hear a voice, the same voice that you heard. It just seems to be being carried on the, wind, and you just hear. The world has borders. The world has walls, places that can't be crossed. It is best that you remember this. And you hear something of a rumbling coming from the great trench beneath you.
Switch, sword, push, must go faster.
The plesiosaur pushes the iceberg.
Yeah, I mean, you've pushed the iceberg a fair enough chunk to.
I drop my concentration on banishment.
All right,
I'm
yeah,
going
and you
to
watch as the.
use my action to lay on hands myself and say back, alright, round 2, let's go.
Right. And
I'm down to 6 points left for land hands, and I'm at full health.
okay, you're down to wait.
6 points of
6
lay on
points.
hands
Yeah,
left in my pool, and then I'm at full health.
I follow. And as you kind of break your concentration on the banishment lance, you watch as the girl kind of just reappears, kind of conjured into midair, right kind of where the iceberg had moved to, and just kind of slides down the side of it at a pretty good pace, right towards you, Fluffy, she just kind of like falls in onto your plesiosaurus back.
Fluffy, get her across the line. We'll hold back whatever's coming.
I will dash. Plesiosaur dash.
You begin kind of dashing, and the water beneath you begins to bubble, and that great trench I described, you see it almost begin to move and like open up a little bit, a great grinding of the earth, and the water in it is moving strangely. It flows, and you can see currents almost visible, currents that almost seem to form like the shape of a creature. It's almost impossible in just the kind of bare moonlight. You can just see something moving beneath you, kind of deep below the ocean, that seems to be emerging from this trench. And then the water begins to rise a bit behind the iceberg where you first kind of saw it, and in a sudden rush and a torrent from underneath, you hear just a low, just like the shaking of the ocean and the earth. It all seems to the water level around you. Actually, it seems like the ocean. You feel this sensation of moving downwards, as if the ocean in this area is slightly even drained, and a massive wall of water appears and begins just rolling towards you, piled up into the high, hundreds and hundreds of feet. The largest tidal wave that perhaps you have ever seen. And it rolls towards you.
Can I jump in the water right as Fluffy is leaving?
Jump on the back if you want.
Yeah, absolutely.
I will jump adjacent to Fluffy's back, and I will give him a nice good old slap on the butt. Heave ho, fight on, my brother, and I will give this boy freedom of movement.
Awesome. Yeah, Fluffy, you feel liberated. Some of like the chunks of ice and stuff that were getting in your way just seem to slide off now.
Alright. Okay. I dash off once I look at the rest of the party, like momentarily as I start moving away.
You look back, it looks like the rest of the party is just standing looking at this thing that's coming towards them. Is that fair to say?
I'm going to cast Protection from Energy. And I'm going to choose cold damage, because I feel like there's a lot of ice coming my way.
Alright.
They don't jump on, I'll just dash away.
Alright, Sword, what's your move? This thing is
No,
going to
one
probably reach
shield
you in
in
about...
front of me.
What's that?
This thing is probably going to reach you in about 2 rounds.
How far away is that from here?
At this point, it looks like probably like a couple hundred feet. It's moving very quickly, and it's very big.
In that case, I think it's prudent to use...
I'm sorry, that's a little bit, not quite that far. About 120, more like. About 60 feet around. Oh, sorry, I was looking at your character sheet and wondering why it wasn't mine. So yeah, what's the play, Sword? Sorry about that.
Sword!
I'm going to use Control Water.
Oh, I was thinking the same thing. Do you want to combine
Alright.
spells?
Can we?
You ready yourself with your control water to kind of come out. I mean, you know you can't control this whole thing, but perhaps like where you impact with it, you might be able to.
It's like use the part water ability.
Is sword
Control
not
water.
jumping on?
It looks like no one's jumping on. It looks like
Alright,
everyone's just.
I'm gonna kick Lance and the girl off. I wild shape back, and I too will also cast Control Water, parting the tidal wave.
I thought it was just like you finished the thing. All right, the girl falls into the ocean, I guess.
No, I throw her onto the ice.
Oh, okay, yeah, you toss her onto one of the little pieces of
See, I think
ice.
it's like the third paragraph, part water. It's up to 100 feet cube. When it gets within 300 feet, so just part away, go around us. Let's combine together, sword. Our powers combined.
I'm going
See?
to, because there's essentially a thing that is battling you right now to create this wave, and you are trying to stop it, since there's something that's controlling this water. I'm going to have you guys enter into a spell contest with the source of this.
Can we combine our spells with some sort of bonus?
I will let either both of you roll your own, and if either of you win, you win, or I will allow just one of you to roll with advantage.
Sword, how confident are you?
Can I be like right next to them with my shield in front of them?
Yes, I mean absolutely.
Yeah, because my shield is gonna be the one that saves them. These silly casters and their spells.
Lance runs over to the girl.
It's only 100 feet of water, guys. Come on. My buckler will save us.
There's kind of one more round remaining. Lance, you run over to the girl. What do you do?
I will pull out a item of mine, and it is thankfully not a I will kind of put it on her and activate it on her, or, you know, puppet her hand to have it activate, as I will have her enter the rodent's roller.
Yes, absolutely. You watch as this girl just kind of enters into a sphere, or just kind of this protective odd bubble.
Sword, would you want one of us to roll with advantage, or two separate rolls?
I think it's more interesting if both of you roll. I'm just going to say,
So
I'd say
alright,
both. Better chances.
Okay. Here we go.
What am I rolling?
18.
Do you add proficiency for this?
I don't know.
feat?
Actually, I just assumed wisdom,
Nope,
because that's
just
what
straight
it does.
up spellcasting check.
Yeah. Go for it, sword.
Just as your foe will not either.
Which spell casting check am I rolling?
Your wisdom for a cleric. So just straight wisdom.
Oh, that's a wisdom save.
Alright. As this huge kind of waves comes up, you guys just like brace yourself on the iceberg and get ready to just fight it head on. And it crashes into the iceberg where you are. Both of you, your arms tear apart, cutting like a swath through the middle of it, and it is deep. As it's kind of passing over you, it is about 50 feet thick. That you're just kind of like your hands moving as quickly as they can, pushing the water aside. Sword, you kind of are just kind of like barely keeping up with Fluffy, who's but both of you moving it away. With this roll, because you kind of win it, I'm going to say that all of you are going to both have advantage and take half damage on anything that happens here. Because there's just so much of this rushing so quickly, you won't be able to kind of avoid all of it.
We can give this up for like 10 minutes, so...
Is this a spell?
Very sexy spell, yes.
Okay, then we also have resistance from my aura, and you have +4 to your saving throw.
Actually, never mind, let me rephrase. This is not a spell in the terms... It was a magical effect that created this water, but it's the force of water hitting you.
Okay,
so in that regard, the damage isn't magical.
This doesn't apply.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that this is a spell damage.
Okay.
It's kind of a unique ability.
This applies?
That one does.
Absolutely.
Our saving throws.
So,
Does this apply?
I would say yes, that does.
Hi, boo.
But we
What
already
is the
have
plan here,
advantage on
guys?
saving
I can only-
throw, right?
Yeah, but you already
Ah,
have
so
advantage.
much
So I need
water.
all of you to make me strength checks with it, strength saves with advantage. And you all have switches +4.
15 then.
Oof, 16.
Oh,
None of you are going to succeed on this, but you are all going to take half of this 57 damage as it whips you up in it. At the kind of the end of it.
Damage?
Say again?
type of damage?
Bludgeoning.
Okay.
And as you kind of are whipped up with this control water, you kind of pull yourselves up with the control water and are now kind of in this huge tidal wave as it rushes. You watch as the rodent's roller is just kind of buoyed up by the wave and moves harmlessly along with it. And now you guys are kind of inside the wave. You've created a spot for yourself. You still all are walking on water. So you're essentially inside of like a hole that has almost been built within the wave now that you guys created, which is incredibly dope.
Can I, am I in hand reach of sword?
Yeah.
We're all kind of bolted up together.
Excellent. Can I grab his hand and suggest, let's try and redirect it the other way? As we change I'll try and change it to redirect flow to try and send the wave against itself.
Okay, you're trying to like break the wave up from the inside?
Essentially. Sword, do you agree?
Go for it.
With our powers combined.
Alright, make another spellcasting check.
Can I place a hand on Fluffy as he does this? And guidance him. Oh, Jesus.
Oh, shit. Yeah, you guys kind of pull a chunk of...
You want me to add a d4 to that?
No, I do not.
Okay. I would like to add a d4, but alright.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. Feel free if you wish. That is incorrect, the damage on that. Sorry. But...
24.
I didn't actually mean to do that. Whoopsies.
Totally don't know what that creature is. Walks away.
Okay, cool. So yeah, you begin kind of redirecting the flow of this wave, and it crashes into itself and moves around. But as you're doing this, you also see just this beast that seems to be within it, that thing I described within the water before, just moving as part of it, almost like a great serpent, which at this point is going to run up and crash into y'all.
The switches get in action?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. This thing looks kind of small, so I'm gonna poke it with a knife.
Alright, you just ready an attack as it's kind of like passing along the horizontal of the wave.
Yep.
You strike it. Alright, you hit it for 9.
Okay. I would like to, yeah. I mean, it's not worth my time. I'm just gonna use a knife on it because it's just a little baby. And I'm gonna Divine Smite at the 3rd level. And is this a full turn, or is this just a readied action?
This is a, I'll say this is a readied action.
So we reroll initiative.
Because it's kind of running out, yeah.
Could I have,
We're in a pseudo initiative at the moment.
could I have bonus action something?
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. So I'm gonna expend one of those, and I only get one attack on a readied action, correct?
That's correct, yeah. So that hits, and you'll do an extra damage with it. Roll that.
Roll your 48.
Yes, and I'm also going to Divine Smite as well.
Suspected.
48 plus 3d8, so you might as well just roll 78.
Yep, big chunk.
Wait, no, you have to do a separate because he has to do a con save for that one, doesn't he? Yeah.
No, he does a con save for being blinded or not.
Not the damage? Okay.
Nope.
Okay.
Alright, 35 points of damage, and now he's going to make that con save.
I'll save 16.
Which he fails. However, he is immune to the blinded condition. Unfortunately, this massive sea beast cannot be blinded. But you do hit for an incredibly huge chunk of damage on a single string, as just that one knife stab hits for 44 points of damage. You just hold out your dagger and move through it. As it rushes into you, I need all of you to make me dex saves.
With advantage?
No, this is just a different thing. This isn't like for wave. Okay. The wave, you're kind of like stopping. You're doing a good job on that.
Is this still a magical effect that we're saving against?
Yeah, I'll give you advantage for that.
So +4, 13. Probably not gonna do it. But...
Hey, I don't know if that's good.
It's not going to
but
quite get you. Still, but
I need
Oof.
to as well, correct?
Even with my switch bonus?
wait, with switch bonus?
4.
No, that does not get you there, and 22 also is not quite enough.
Oh, jeez.
This is a big boy, and as this thing rushes and kind of crashes through you, it just seems to like dive horizontally through this massively tall tidal wave, moving like it's part of the water itself. It just rushes over your space, and each of you take. That's 40-10 bludgeoning and 40-10 cold damage for a total of 52 points of damage.
Lance is unconscious.
Is anyone not unconscious?
Me.
Switch. Sword, you still up?
No, I'm down.
Where are you at, Fluffy?
I'm down as well.
Okay. Those of you who are reduced to 0 hit points by this attack, as this thing rushes through the tidal wave, it just crashes out the other side, and the tidal wave continues to kind of roll forward and onward. But through the kind of efforts of kind of Fluffy and Sword, you find that the tidal wave's like power has greatly been decreased. It looks like this thing was just going to obliterate what is left of Buckler's Bay. However, it kind of slowly simmers down and falters because of the huge break in momentum you put into it. The great trench beneath the ocean opens wide once more, and you see as this wave sends you careening back towards the land, away from the supposed border. This creature with its kind of low, rumbling voice swims back downwards into the kind of ravine, leaving you to coast the rest of the way. But the three of you that were knocked unconscious by this, you found that along with it, your body was completely frozen and encased in ice, in the same way that you saw the statue before. You saw the girl before kind of frozen within the glacier. And
so we instantly die.
it is a... if you were at 0 and reduced to it, it is actually you do. Yeah, no, that is an instant. That is an instant death.
Okay.
However, you roll back to the coastline, and the wave kind of crashes into Buckler's Bay, massively diminished by Fluffy and Sword's kind of control water. And it just kind of rolls into the town. You see a few people that were kind of drunk on the streets get kind of carried away by it, and kind of thrown on their butts, but no one is kind of finished off. You see the rodent's roller containing your charge in this instance, Rebecca, is. She's still unconscious, but the roller just kind of is slammed into kind of like a rooftop building where the building kind of cracks, and she's just resting completely secure within it. The rodent's roller protecting her from any harm, even from like the sudden jostles and shifts in momentum. Switch, you are battered and beaten, and your allies completely frozen over. And
so if I try my lay on hands on each of them, they're all dead, correct?
yeah, they are dead.
I want to say, as I was being pushed back by this massive wave, I call out, "Why are you running, coward?"
Yeah, and it's kind of through you call out a while. I imagine it's through choking up a little bit of salt water, and but the border is closed. But you have succeeded in your adventure and retrieved this individual, and with that, sometime later...
Save the town once again.
You saved the town once again. You've done a lot for Buckler's Bay, Sword, even if they might not appreciate it as much as you would expect for the way that it has changed.
So we just get like this after scene where there's like 12 Galanodels all pushing in little ice sculptures of the dead heroes, but they're all already there.
Yeah, the ice sculptures that they were frozen from are still whole and empty.
Keep forgetting about this thing, I swear.
as the group of you are returned
now.
to Bartholomew's shop. Oh wait, just out of curiosity, because we'll next time. I mean,
Yeah, no,
if you remember it,
I forgot.
if you remember it, Fluffy, the next time I will give you one. It automatically works on a future one when you want it to activate. If you remember that.
Yeah, I'll try. I keep forgetting about it in general, especially when you're caught up with weird sea monsters.
Yeah, I mean, naturally. Sometime later, you find yourself at Bartholomew's shop, and you all kind of awaken, kind of stagger back out. And
That was strange.
but you're there. Greetings, adventurers. It looks like things were a little bit dicey there, but well, I do owe you some money, and the money did come through, so it looks like you succeeded, even though you may have lost your lives in that final moment.
Was the city saved? That was my goal.
Bartholomew, do you know anything about the Avatar of the East?
Oh, the East specifically? I don't think anyone has encountered that individual. And he kind of holds out his hand, though, and he just scries on the city of Buckler's Bay. You see some minor damage, Fluffy, to some of the buildings. You see a few people.
I'll describe
nursing
to
some
them
small injuries.
exactly the details of this Avatar.
Alright.
And its apparent abilities.
Bartholomew says, I am, yes, familiar with the Avatar. He waters the border of the world, which is, I suppose, a good thing, and perhaps a bad thing as well, I would say. He looks at you.
Mm-hmm.
A walrus, you said, in this great wall of water. It's. I try to keep adventurers away from there when it's possible, but sometimes the twists and turns of adventurers do push you to the outskirts of the world. I'm impressed that you were able to survive and that all of you were able to complete your goal. He hands over the big money. And well, don't be so dour. You did it. You've won. And well, also, if you have that hard money, you're also welcome to purchase anything at the shop if you wish.
Oh, also, just to be clear, there's no clause in our contract that any treasure that we just so happen to come across is it's not Bartholomew's property, correct? It's
you find treasure because I believe I should be getting some kind of cut.
I don't think that there's anything in the clause.
I don't know. Perhaps we could review it. I think there are some things in place that might entitle me to a touch of that sum, one way or the other.
I don't think. I think that actually.
I'd toss Bartholomew my share.
Roger, are you here?
I'm always here.
Yeah, I believe that in the contract it says that Roger gets a share as the intern, but Bartholomew does not.
This is hogwash that you're making up.
Yeah, this doesn't even sound like it could be real.
Yes.
You really gotta up your lying game.
Switch is going to take out a forged document that one of the Galanodel children made.
Yes.
Would you like me to check to see if it passes?
Yeah, go ahead and roll Switch.
Deception?
Whatever you want.
20.
Bartholomew says, Oh, yes. This must be the real contract, of course. Thank you very much, Sword, for that treasure. I do appreciate that a lot. You can give your share to Roger if you want to do that. Or actually, as it says you must do in that contract, by all means.
I give Roger 10%.
What do I do with this?
I don't know. Well, it's gold, which is nice, and I like having it.
Alright, here you go.
In my experience, it's just nice to have.
Not like it's doing me any good.
Bartholomew readily accepts the additional gold. And be careful about heading out there in the future. Running is often a good choice.
We did tell Yes, right? We told one of us to run with the charge.
To be fair,
Okay,
Fluffy
sure.
also did save the entire town with that
Yeah,
water,
we kind of.
along with Sword there. Like,
I thought
mean,
to save all of you, but it
We're going
seems
to
I
be killing a bunch of them anyway when we take on the lord of that town. So,
Why would we be taking on the lord of that town? I still don't have enough information to know if he's...
because I want to be the new ruler of that town.
You have an entire clan of your siblings. I'm sure you don't need anyone else on. But the charge was okay,
It's
yes?
not as fun as if you do it with friends. See, siblings squabble and fight over things, but with a group of friends like you guys, I wouldn't have it any other way.
You
You know
just
what
want to
they
do this
say.
because one of them said you couldn't, don't you?
Look,
What?
guys, you know what
No.
they say. Tyranny loves company, so just gotta work together to really, really put those people down.
and Bartholomew bucks love being spent. And you hear,
Just a word of warning. Look out for poison potato.
look out for poison potatoes. I will be vigilant, Sword. And he seems to take this. He seems to take this warning with a great deal of a surprising amount of caution. So, can I get anything for you with your fresh patient?